Chicago Bears fans, we are back. Now, before we get into the video, I want to say that I will be live streaming tomorrow's game at 1 o'clock. But today, I kind of wanted to take the time out and talk about 5 key players that I'll be watching in the preseason opener, starting off with Justin Fields. Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy, they basically came out and already said some of the big dogs will be playing in the game, and Justin Fields, another one of those big dogs. And from what I've saw so far, I've seen some people that weren't on the good side of this move. They did not like that Justin Fields will be playing in preseason, and I don't think he's going to get hurt. I think that if you put him out there, the starting offensive line will be out there with him, and also in addition to that, I think that he can use the work. He's not really a proven quarterback in the league to this point. Now, it's safe to be optimistic about Justin Fields. It's safe to say that with another good year right here, he will be the franchise's quarterback for the foreseeable future. But I don't think we can just book it right now. I think that as a runner, he's very electric. But when I talk about Fields, I don't even want to talk about his running, because why would I? We already know that. And I think that for Fields, the next step of his evolution, of his development as a quarterback in this league is as a passer. So I won't be more so looking at the big time completions. I'm not looking for bombs. I'm not looking for him to light up a preseason game. I'm looking at his mechanics. We've already talked about the film breakdown with Justin. So that was the biggest thing, making the easy look easy. I think that's the first and foremost thing that I'll be looking for. Outside of that, it's really getting quicker with the decision making. I won't say that he can't make decisions. I've said this already and I'm saying it again. He can make decisions, but sometimes when he sees the decision, he doesn't pull the trigger on it. And like I said, there were some things last year that could have factored into that. Could have been he did not trust his offensive line. Could have been that he did not trust his weapons. Chase Claypool, they were not having a good chemistry last season. So some different things that we want to see here. Now, the second player that I want to see, and this is a very interesting player, another player who everybody's talking about, Darnell Wright on the offensive line. Every time I hear Darnell Wright, and it's like you can't even be hyped about Will Anderson. Don't you dare talk about Will Anderson, because everybody's going to say that's Darnell Wright's son. Now, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but he did hold up pretty solidly against one of the best defensive players in college football in that matchup. So just want to see how he looks against a very feisty defense in Tennessee. Now, of course, I don't think Tennessee's going to be playing their starting edge rushers, but whoever they put out there and line up against them, I want to see how he holds up in the run game and in the passing game. Now, something I was thinking about and that I noted for Darnell Wright, I want to see consistent reps and snaps. I don't care if that, of course, I want him out there with the first team for Justin Fields, but I want him out there after that. I don't care if it's Nathan Peterman. I don't care if it's PJ Walker. I don't care if Matt Eberflus suits up and plays quarterback. I want as much Darnell Wright reps as I can get on the football field. So that's one thing that I'll say. And really interested in how we already saw with the conditioning test, he did the wide receiver conditioning test. I don't know how you get that mistaken, but that's something that he did. But it showed his determination, because for offensive linemen, you have no business doing a wide receiver's conditioning test, but he did it and he didn't even complain. Nobody would have knew anything if he didn't say anything, if the coaches didn't say anything. So that's one thing that I note and that I pay attention to with Darnell Wright. And getting into my next player that I have, Tyler Scott. That burn out of Cincinnati, he's ringing bells and he's going to do it again. So I think that I don't know what team he'll be running with permanently, but I think he's one of the guys who we'll see get consistent snaps, kind of like what we saw with Tank Dell last night. Got some consistent snaps within that game, and he's a player who we say, okay, we drafted him pretty high, 3rd to 4th, but now he's getting those reps even when CJ Stroud's not in the game, and we saw what he did against some of those 2nd and 3rd team corners. So building that confidence, showing off your route running, showing your ability to catch the football, yards after the catch opportunities. Just want to see every possible thing we can do with Tyler Scott, use him. Because I think with Darnell Wright, Chase Claypool, and DJ Moore, the question is, and I had this conversation with one of the guys in my live stream, I think it was Darren Chambers, shout out him. He was holding it down for Chicago Bears fans. But the question is with Tyler Scott, will he be able to be impactful early? Now, Darnell Mooney's going into a contract year, so is this something that we're foreseeing Darnell Mooney is going to be out the door? I don't want to get that far in saying that just yet, but Tyler Scott is looking like a guy who has some of those traits coming out of college. I'm not saying he'll be the same player, but out of college, he has a very similar profile, and he's a very good player. So I just want to see what he does tomorrow. Now, shifting over to the defensive side of the ball, we know this is my side of the ball, the defense. I love the defense. So talking about Captain Jack. Jack Attack, Jack Sanborn. I want to see what he does. And I was reading the article and watching the video as well about him talking about the importance of preseason, because I've said it. I think Jack Sanborn on a lot of teams is a starting caliber linebacker. I think on this team he's a starting caliber linebacker. But when you have TJ Edwards, when you have Tremaine Edmonds, and those guys have been impressing in camp. I said that if it were up to me, I would try to give Jack Sanborn as much opportunities as I could to take the spot from TJ Edwards. But it's looking like Edwards is hanging on. He's proven himself, and also not even just on the field. That leadership off the field, in the locker room, the defensive line trusts him. The secondary trusts him. They trust TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. Those guys have both came from winning organizations in Philadelphia and Buffalo. So we're going to say that is what it is right now. But Jack Sanborn, if one guy goes down, we knocking on wood. We don't want that to happen. But if his opportunity comes back up, I think he will shine. So just showing some more of those things you can do. I think the coaching staff and the linebackers coach, they already understand what Jack Attack is right now. I gave him that nickname, Jack Attack. If you're wondering why I'm saying Jack Sanborn, Jack Attack, but they already know what he is at this point in his career. But just showing him again, you know what I am, but you brought in a linebacker that kind of is replacing me. You brought him in on a 3-year deal. So I'm going to remind you how good I am. I want to see that in the game. Now, getting into my last guy, that's Terrell Smith. And it was a close call between Terrell Lewis and Terrell Smith, but I think the secondary, because of how they played last year, and this can go hand in hand. So I want to give the honorable mention to Terrell Lewis, because I think that with Yannick Ngakoue, how will that take away from everything he's been doing up to this point in training camp? I think he's been flashing, but Yannick Ngakoue is going to be a designated pass rusher for this team. I do want to note that. So getting back to Terrell Smith in the secondary, a corner, has been flashing. I wonder with the guys, I think that right now, if it were up to me, I go Jalen Johnson, I go Kyler Gordon, he's been flashing in camp, Spider-Man, and then I go Tyreek Stevenson, my guy. So we go with those three, and there's still going to be corners who get playing time outside of that. I understand starters start, they play heavy minutes, but it's still guys in depth situations and certain nickel and dime situations. It's going to be a guy hitting the football field. And I think that possibly Terrell Smith could be one of those guys in the secondary who comes in as a depth piece. So I want to see what he does against some big-time action tomorrow. Those are my 5 guys, though. What do you think about my 5 players? Who are your 5 players if they're different, or who is one player? If I did not name one player who's different from everyone that I listed, let me know in the comments. We can have this discussion. Like I said, we'll be live streaming this game tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you guys are ready. I'm ready to watch the Chicago Bears. Tonight, we're having a live stream with the New York Giants versus the Detroit Lions. You probably want to join that because you just want to see what the Lions look like. I think that's your competition. You're trying to knock them off in the North. So watching that game, talking about that. But those are my 5 guys. I'm going to leave you with that thought. That's going to do it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And now,